Okay, let me show the slide real quick.
Nih, Matthayom Kohmak.
Okay. Good afternoon and welcome to the judges, teachers, guests, and participants of FRSIS 2025. Now, I'd like to introduce our judges today. The chief judge is technologist Dr. Sri Siti Azrina Binti Mobin, Assistant Professor School of Computing Asia Pacific University of Technology and Innovation, APU Bukit Jalil. The second judge is Ms. Kaisara Abdullah from Sekolah Menengah Sains Kuching. The third judge is Mr. Muhammad Umar Al Farouk bin Muhammad Puat from Sekolah Menengah Sains Tuanku Aisyah Rohani, SGS. And I, Muhammad Akif Daris bin Muhammad Chornizam from Sekolah Menengah Sains Sembrong, while the timekeepers Nurin Iman Kaisara binti Muhammad Fahmi and Fatin Ardini binti Nur Hamidi are from Sekolah Menengah Sains Kuala Selangor. Now, allow me to read the rules. Each team should consist of presenters and a technical assistant. The presentation must focus on the sub-theme assigned to the team. The duration of the presentation should not be more than 10 minutes. The bell will be rung once at the 9th minute and twice at the 10th minute. A question and answer session will be conducted after each presentation. Now, I would like to invite Matthayom Kohmark, Thailand, to present.
Okay, so may we start now? Sawadika!
A very warm welcome to all the honorable judges. We appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today. We are from Matthayom School, located in Thailand. Before we get into the topic, first let me introduce myself. My name is Natapong Praidan.
My name is Afan Rajapakdi.
My name is Piachat Kongyang.
And last but not least, my name is Piyatidao Tangsi, and today we present to you Smart Eco-Living for Sustainable Local Tourism, the Phayun model. Now, ready or not, let's get into this together. What is sustainability? Sustainability includes three main pillars: environmental sustainability, social sustainability, and economic sustainability.
Breakdown. We are now living in the era where community must brand economic growth, cultural identity, social development, and environmental conservation to survive, even at a small city.
The concept of smart living which integrate digital technology, local resources, management, and grassroots economics. All of this has emerged as a key strategy for sustainable development.
But what exactly is smart living? Smart living for this concept is to develop the quality of living with technology by considering keeping the significant cultural and environmental benefits.
When combining this concept with ecotourism, which emphasizes respect for natural environment and cultural traditions, it offers a powerful model for a long-term community empowerment, especially in areas like Phayun district in Patalung province. Can integrating smart living and ecotourism in the Phayun district promote a sustainable development?
Research objective. First, assess the potential of local community for developing ecotourism based on smart living. Second, design a tourism model that blends digital environmental awareness and cultural identity. Third, evaluate the impact of this model on community empowerment. Methodology: we use participatory, action-driven working directly with local stakeholders from three sub-districts: Gokma, Goknakam, and Phayun.
Other correlation included in-depth interviews, focus group discussion, community survey, and local workshop to co-design solutions.
Stakeholders involves villagers, tourism entrepreneurs, government officers, and community leaders. The process was cyclical, allowing continuous feedback and adaptation.
Key findings: we discovered that the community have strong natural and cultural assets such as mangrove forests, traditional fishing, and unique local festivals.
They are open to using digital tools such as Facebook page for promotions, QR code for storytelling, and even solar powered for homestay. We piloted three tourism household income increase, visitor satisfaction was high, environmental awareness improved, and community participation in tourism activities grew.
Impact integration. Our model successfully integrated smart living into ecotourism by promoting resource-efficient innovation, highlighting cultural authenticity, and ensuring sustainability as the guiding principle. Most importantly, the community was at the center of the process, learning, reading, and shaping their future.
Conclusion: by researching, it reveals that locals have a strong connection with nature. Combining a smart living with ecotourism, when designed for local context, it can drive a real lasting change. It empowers community while still protecting nature and promote a sustainable livelihood. Recommendations: we propose three key strategies for future development. Establish local tourism learning centers who coordinate tourism activities. Create youth digital training program focuses on ecotourism. Foster collaboration between local communities and external experts to spark innovation and reach broader markets. These efforts will contribute to the long-term sustainability and resilience of the region. Now let's watch our video, but let me close my mic real quick. Okay, so this is our Facebook fan page. It's called Phayun. And this is our activity. Please visit this fan page if you want to see what we do. This is the QR code for the fan page. Live smart, thread light, let Phayun shine bright. Thank you. Okay, that's all of our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. Now I'd like to ask participants if they have questions.
Okay, congratulations for a very wonderful presentation. My first question is, you have talked about smart living in the project you're doing, but how can you ensure that everybody will be able to adapt to the technique of smart living?
I'm sure because we will create a learning center for people to learn about this smart living thing.
Next, I would like to invite the judges to give questions.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Can you explain your research process from beginning to end?
So our research process is in-depth interviews and we do taking a video and seeing what people do in our town and adapt it with our concept of smart living.
That's all?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Now I would like to invite. Thank you for the thought-provoking presentation.
Sekolah Filipin.
Hmm? Daris. Nama? Nurin. Okay. Filipin. India. Yang mana?
Am I audible? Right, perfect. Greetings, everyone. I am Hrish Sharma, along with my team of 3 other participants from St. Mark's Senior Secondary Public School, Mirabagh, New Delhi, India. And today, we present Strategic Planning and Analysis for Regional Knowledge and Tourism. I'll let the other members introduce themselves, please.
Moving on, let's hear from the second team.
I am Pratyush Goyal.
Oh, all right, please wait.
Moving on, let's hear from the second team, St. Mark's Senior Secondary Public School, India, to present.
All right. So again, hi, I'm Kride. We'll be presenting strategic planning and analysis for regional knowledge and tourism. Right. So here is it. We have Pratyush Goyal, we have Anika Nanchal, and we have Prisha Anand. We're all from India. Greetings. So now, when we talk about regional knowledge and tourism, what we must understand is that it is strategic in nature. So that the robust planning is a must, and without it, not much of the planning is possible. Hence, for that strategic planning, we take help of multiple facets. Now, the multiple facets being research methodology, case study analysis, then resource mapping, then our experiences and survey analysis. Then you've taken multiple interviews also. Then we have our own solutions and multiple other solutions, and then the conclusions. So, I'll let my team members explain the research methodology.
Our research process was designed to be multidimensional and inclusive. It involved 4 key components. First, research. We started with secondary data collection, reading reports, government tourism policies, etc. Second, survey analysis. To get real-time public insight, we created a digital survey shared, shared across age groups and demographics. Third, case study. We explored Costa Rica as a primary case because of its global reputation in ecotourism. This comparison revealed the impact of visibility and infrastructure. Fourth, website concept. Finally, we created a digital platform called EcoAcharya.
All right, so let's come to resource mapping. Now, resource mapping is a very simple concept. So let's think of it as if you're cooking food. So you'll need to know what all ingredients you have in order to cook the food, the ideal dish. If you don't have coconut or rice, you won't be able to cook nasi lemak. If you don't have noodles, you won't be able to cook laksa. So what we must understand is that all the resources are very necessary and important in nature for resource mapping. Now it is a systematic process to identify, visualize natural, cultural, and financial assets. So for example, if I have to buy a pen, so for that I'll have to identify how much money I have, right? Then only will I be able to buy a pen. If this pen costs 80 rupees and I only have 20 rupees, so buying this pen won't be feasible. And if I have 100 rupees and this pen costs 80 rupees, so I still have 20 rupees left. So what I must also ensure via resource mapping is that those 20 rupees which will be left after I've gotten a pen don't go to waste. Hence, it is very important in ecotourism. Governments keep on putting in and pitching in funds, and they continue to do so rigorously. But what they don't understand is that there is a proper mapping required. Right? So, if I have this 100 rupees pen and it only costs 80 rupees, so I won't put in 100 rupees, I'll put in the 80 rupees required and I'll save the 20 rupees and put it elsewhere. But this is not the case happening. In multiple financial reports and financial analysis of multiple nations, what we've found out is that this blindfolded pitching in of funds and putting in funds for tourism, but understanding and analyzing how much funding is required is not there at all. Now let's see the case study of Costa Rica and how we come in to help. Right. So, for example, if there is a very good spot, a very good tourist spot, and a very bad tourist spot, right? There's Arsenal volcano, which is the most famous. It is the highlight of Costa Rica, which gives it majority of tourism. For example, in India, we have Kashmir, which is the highlight of tourism. We have Goa, but we also have places like Sikkim. We have places like Darjeeling, which are not that explored, right? So again, the Arsenal volcano is a popular site with infrastructure and visitor amenities. Hence, high visibility is equal to high investment is equal to a higher turnover of tourists. Whereas here the Osa Peninsula, which has rich biodiversity, yes, yet it is underpromoted. So it has lower visibility. So that is why it has lower investment. And because of the lower investment, it has lower visibility, right? And that is why there's lower tourists here. But that does not mean that it cannot contribute as much as Arsenal volcano contributes. It can, right? So this is the main issue we are targeting here. One is that there's blindfold of resources being pitched in, and the second is that the resources being pitched in are being pitched in wrong. Whereas if there was an equal or equitable distribution of funds, for Arsenal volcano and the Osa Peninsula. Then that will make both the sites popular, hence also increasing the company's GDP or the country's GDP. But this is something which has been failed to understand. Now we had to survey analysis, which my friends will be explaining.
Okay, to understand public behavior and perception around sustainable travel, we conducted a survey and here's what we found. Okay, natural landscapes and biodiversity in this question were the top factors influencing travel choices. This shows that people still value scenic beauty and nature. On the other hand, local community engagement opportunities were the least chosen factor, highlighting a lack of awareness about community based tourism. Next, when it comes to sustainable practices, the most common was using reusable products like bottles and bags. The least common was choosing tour operators that support conservation, again, suggesting a knowledge gap. Next, we asked what would encourage people to travel more sustainably. Surprisingly, rewards or incentives weren't a top motivator. Instead, most people just want better availability of eco friendly services. Next, we asked whether people would use a platform that helps them find eco friendly options. A large majority, over 57%, said yes, and about 37% said they would use it if it's affordable and convenient. This validated our belief that while people are open to sustainability, they need better tools and access. Lastly, this chart reveals participants' preferences for different types of travel accommodations. Travelers mostly prioritize comfort and luxury, while eco friendly and alternative stay options are still not widely popular.
Thing is that thing is We also spoke to an inspiring individual working on the ground, Mr. Ram, with over 23 years of experience in promoting regional ecotourism. He emphasized that the biggest obstacle in planning at the grassroots level. He believes that many rural areas have tourism potential but suffer due to lack of visibility and government support. He shared insights on how technology and small initiatives can create big shifts in travel behavior. According to him, the next revolution in ecotourism will be led by digital platforms that empower both travelers and local communities. This interview reminded us that change doesn't always start from the top. Often, it begins with community empowerment and smart tools.
Thing is that when big hotels comes in, they come in because they're going to make money out of it, and also big players comes in only when they come in, they grab everything, and the rest are just a trickling down effect, as you call it.
Right. So, honorable judges, if you just saw what Sir said, is very relevant, prevalent to the survey we just showed you. I'll just move into the previous slide. Right. So, if you can see, sir, 59, sirs and ma'ams, 59% of people prefer luxury hotels and resorts. And as Sir is saying, it's a trickling down effect, right? There's luxury hotels and resorts, and they come only to mint money and to have multiple consumers and to commercialize it. Hence, the ecotourist spots, vacation rentals, and homestays and the budget hotels, they all have a lower preference basis, whereas they have the highest preference basis. They start with a lower amount per night and they keep on increasing it continuously. So this is a current scenario of ecotourism in multiple places.
Thing is that when
So now we'll come to the solutions. Our first solution is Eco-Acharya. As previously mentioned by multiple participants, I'll be showing Eco-Acharya to you right now. Now, Eco-Acharya is also the basis of our website. So if my screen could be showed here on the right, I do hope my screen is visible. So here we are. This is Eco-Acharya, right? So now Eco-Acharya's basis is very simple. What we're trying to do is we're trying to promote the local homestays and multiple of the places where people can afford to stay, and they're also promoting ecotourism. Now the problem being here is that people are able to afford these local homestays, but they don't do it out of the luxury preferential, because these five-star hotels and luxury hotels commercialize themselves and brand themselves so much that we are unable to see them. So this is the biggest problem here that we are facing right now. To solve it, it is very simple. I just if the tech team could share my screen on this, please. Right, thank you so much. So this is our website. Right, so there's an analytics option where there is resource mapping also. So what we require is a streamlining of all the things. So we have everything here. We have the tourism resource mapping here, and we also have the stays. Now what happens is we connect a consumer and we connect a stayer. Now the host and the stayer will connect. What we are just a medium by they connect. Now what we are doing is we are trying to brand and commercialize the local homestays that are promoting ecotourism more than somebody or a big brand like Taj or ITC or multiple other brands like Mayfair and established in India. Now, to break this hegemony, the local homestays that are promoting ecotourism will have to have their voice heard. So, what I will show is via the consumer theory, which even Zara, H&M, and multiple brands follow, is that if they have to sell a T-shirt, they'll put in a discount on it. So now, sir, if you have to buy an iPhone 14 costing 60,000, and if you have to buy just an iPhone 13 costing 20 or 15,000, you'd obviously prefer the iPhone 13, which might be one model lower, but it gives you that price gap too. So you'll prefer that. By virtue of it, all of us, we all have to save our money, considering our backgrounds, or so and so, we prefer saving money, right? So here we are commercializing and branding the little hotels or the local stays that can connect you as a consumer. So if you know about it, you would obviously prefer an eco-tourist spot which is cheaper than maybe a big place like Taj. Also, the other thing is that these local homestays that are promoting ecotourism, they are not properly branded, but they're in the middle of the city. What the luxury stays do is that they buy big amounts of land, vast amounts of land outside the city in a remote area, right? So this is one issue. Another issue in which the local ecotourism spots preside over them. So I'll show you the login basis, right? So here is register. I've already registered, so I'll directly log in, right? So as you can see, I've logged in from the password. So this is this, and this is my profile, right? And this is the explore option, right? So we have already added one hotel here, and I can go to view details and book, right? And if I have to add another hotel, I'll just log out and I'll log in as a host, right? So as you can see, there are two options. I'm a traveler or a host, a property owner. So I have made accounts for both. Now this is the host account, right? Just give me a second. I just register as a host. Right. So I'll sign up. Now to sign in up, it will ask me to list my stay. So I can put in any property name. For example, if I have XYZ property name and it is in West Bengal, in Kolkata, right? So I'll put in that. I put in the description, nice ecotourism spot with proper amenities located in the center of the city. And I put in the price per night as $30, right? And I put in a random image URL, taking it from the internet. So once I've done this, I'll list my property. So after that, I'll go to explore, and here I have my property. So now if you see, sir, I've added one luxury hotel and I've added one homestay. Both look nice and both have multiple amenities, right? But this is for $120 per night and this is for $30 per night. So by virtue of it, we will be attracted to the one which is looking good and is of $30 per night. So this is what EcoCharya does. It also shows you analytics for resource mapping, and it also has a robust donate feature, right? So here, if a person wants to ask for a donation, they may ask for a donation. It will come to our admin page. We will check if they're authentic or not, and we'll allow them to take donations from our site. Also, a royalty or a profit model. Now you can see, sir, it's divided into multiple regions. Now this regional analysis shows you how much resource mapping has been done till now, and right. So this was our solution and the majority of a presentation, right? So here is it. The recommendation of the resource mapping required for the better utilization and augmentation of already invested funds, and thus the political shaping of parameters of the required and the operational distribution of said fund resources, right? So that's all from our side. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the fascinating presentation. Now I would like to ask participants if they have questions.
So, how does your recommendation helps empowering the locals?
All right, perfect. Thank you so much for your question, ma'am. Question very well appreciated. Now let us look at it from the perspective of empowering the locals only. Now, ma'am, what you must understand is that multiple recommendations have been made and multiple recommendations will be made. But those recommendations have to be practical and pragmatic in nature. Now just saying that I will put in funding or I will open a hedge fund or I will open a donation model won't help. To empower the local communities, you will require funding, financial assets, and capital at first. So for that, I need to understand how much capital has to be put in, and to also show them that I am putting in this capital, but this much capital has already been put in, which is a non-performing asset. Because if it would have been a performing asset or it would have worked, I would not have to put in more funding. So hence, resource pumping is very, very, very important. Now, how to empower the local communities? Ma'am, as you said, the local communities are the one that will open local homestays, right? They will try to break the hegemony or this control created over the tourism industry by the big brands or the luxury hotels, right? So hence, why our Ecocharya will help empower them by asking them to either ask for donations on a website or understand how much funding they require and how much more is required by them, right? And also by putting in their local homestays which are ecological in nature, ecologically friendly in nature. I hope that answered your question.
Okay, my question will be, you already talked about how luxury hotels, five-star hotels get a branding, they are over branding, and how are they succeeding. However, my question will be, how will you be able to promote your application so your main target can benefit from it?
Right, perfect. Thank you, ma'am. Now, ma'am, for a website and an app, it is not a website actually. It is not an application. It's a web application. It's a website by the nature and virtue of it. So to promote it is very simple, ma'am. There's two things to promote a website. One is search engine optimization, right? So that can only be done, ma'am. The search engine optimization can only be done by a good amount of visits. Now that requires some time, ma'am. If, for example, this website was created on 19th June 2025, it won't have multiple visits as of today, but maybe in 2 3 months 4 months the SEO will increase and its popularity will increase, ma'am. Secondly is royalties and collaborations. Now, ma'am, when we collaborate with the homestays and when we collaborate with multiple other brands and maybe even the local governments of that local area, what they will do is they will give us some amount of profit for us to promote their state or city. For example, let's talk about India's example. If I have to collaborate with Sikkim's government, now, Sikkim is a very beautiful place, but it does not have that much tourism except its capital city. So I'll ask the government to give me some amount of royalty, or if I could, use their head of state, Sikkim's chief minister, as a brand ambassador and promote my site further, and also hence promoting their area. So hence it's a vicious cycle, a chain. I hope that answered your question.
Thank you. Now I would like to ask the judges to give questions. Thank you. Okay. Sekolah apa lepas ni? Sekolah apa lepas ni? Turkey. Okay. Okay.
You have to add on that thank you for your presentation, we leave now.
Oh,
So
okay.
you're online, don't have to do it.
Okay. Turkey. I would like to invite the third. Now, I would like to invite the third school, which is the Cağaloğlu Anatolian High School, Turkey, to present.
Good afternoon, esteemed judges, fellow participants, and dear guests. I'm İpeknaz Uzal, and I'm a member of Cağaloğlu Anatolian High School team. My teammates are Deniz, Defne, and Kayra. Today, we are here to present our innovative vision, sustainable living and tourism through smart ecovillages. An integrated approach. This project offers a comprehensive solution to one of the world's most critical challenges. And it's also a problem in our century. Okay. This is our content, as you can see. So first of all, we would like to mention the problems we have covered through in this presentation, the problems that we noticed while making our research, researchers. The first problem is rural depopulation. This may not seem as a big problem, but it is actually indeed is. Because in the 2000s, the world population were around 55% around the rural area. But by 2023, it became below 43. And this causes many infrastructural problems in rural areas. And it's a big danger for rural areas' sustainability. And also, according to the UN Habitat, the cities only cover the 3% of the world surface, but it consumes global energy for 75%. Also, the second problem we want to mention is cultural loss. We care about our culture. And over 30% of UNESCO World Heritage Sites are now under threat due to climate change and urbanization and other human factors. The third problem is that the economic stagnation. The global economy has seen a significant slowdown in lastly years, and according to the World Bank, actually, it is estimated that global potential GDP growth will fall down to 2.2% per year in the 2020s, down from 3.5 in the early 2000s. And the last problem, but not least, is of course unsustainable tourism. So, what is actually our vision? We want to tell you what exactly our vision is. First of all, is self-sufficient ecovillages, to make self-sufficient ecovillages, and then we want to make, of course, sustainable tourism with self-sufficient ecovillages, and we don't want to benefit only the visitors or the tourists, but we also want to benefit strong local communities, and we want to benefit the nature, the ones who live with the nature. But our main vision is to balance technology and tradition together. We care about our tradition as much as we care about our technological improvements. So we want it to be together and combined. So what are actually our eco-village features? We would like to mention it now. So first of all, we want to make smart guest houses for visitors or tourists. And these smart guest houses will increase productivity and decrease energy consumption by 15 to 30%. Actually, we want it. And we have thought about making green roofs, which will also decrease the cooling costs. Then we have thought about solar power. And now it is actually the solar panels are actually very accessible because in the last 10 years, the solar panels cost has decreased nearly 90%. And this is such a big deal, so we can use solar energy everywhere we want. And we want to use water cycling as much as we can, as much as possibly. Smart watering systems can optimize agricultural water usage 30 up to 50%. And rainwater harvesting systems can reduce potable household water demand by 40 to 60%, according to the International Renewable Energy Agency. Then we want to use also compost systems because we want to reduce the volume of the solid wastes, and well-implemented source separation and composting programs can reduce municipal solid waste by 60 to 80%. So we want to also talk about now in this slide visitor experience. We have thought about organic farming because in the cities it's nearly impossible to find any organic farming. So we think that organic farming will be awesome and a different experience for the visitor who will came in our eco-villages. And then we want traditional cooking because we care about culture and we want the culture to be known and to be not unforgettable. Then we have thought about handicraft workshops such as clay forming. And then last but not least, we want to make QR codes for other stories and information such that how we have made this solar panel, or what is the story between these languages, these people, or these eco-villages, for everything and for everything that people are curious about.
Hi, I'm Deniz, and I will go on with the presentation now. So, local involvement. Local involvement is the backbone of our Smart Ecovillage model, pretty much. In many rural tourism projects similar to ours, external companies or third-party people usually manage the operations in such tourism areas, and the profits leave the community. And we don't want to happen. We don't want that to happen. So we aim to reverse that model in our plan. Villagers lead all key operations from guest house management all the way to agricultural activity, and we also want to implement technology into this thing. So there will be a mobile app where villagers will be able to control energy use, visitor bookings, and such things. So according to the OECD, digitally enabled community services can increase the rural efficiency and income by 15%. So this is a really important aspect of our project. And naturally, with all of this coming into application, the income stays local because the villages will lead everything and keep the money for themselves. So youth empowerment. The most transformative aspect of our project is youth empowerment. Rural youth often live in search of opportunity. In fact, according to a research of the Food Agricultural Organization, 1 in 3 young people in rural Europe or Central Asia plan to migrate to other places where they can find opportunity to live. Our model fights that trend by integrating youth into tourism and digital roles guides, social media managers, or such tech roles. And this provides income, purpose, and community connection. It also ensures culture is passed down and keeps the village vibrant. So this is, as I said, very important as well. Expected impact. Our project creates impact in 4 ways. Economic development. Local first model boosts jobs and resilience, which will boost the economy of the village and the local people. And cultural preservation, cooking and crafts protect heritage, environmental protection. Emissions are expected to be cut by at least 60% versus urban life. And community pride, the local people will feel more free and naturally feel happier. So that's it. And why does this matter? Why does our model matter? It's pretty simple. We wrote here in 4 different titles again. It tackles rural decline, economic stagnation, and environmental risk. According to the United Nations World Tourism Organization, sustainable tourism grows 3 times faster than traditional tourism. And this also means that it could add $320 billion to global revenue. This model is also scalable and realistic. It's not just a dream, so it can actually come to life. And future-ready villages, with the technology involved in this, it will be future-proof. So many people will also be able to use these things in like 100 years later. So that's it. And win-win for locals and visitors. While locals are earning their money, the visitors earn experience and get to experience the culture of these locals. And thank you for your attention. This project isn't just a dream, it's a practical plan. If you believe rural areas deserve a more thriving future, support our project, please. Let's build sustainability together through people, culture, and innovation. And that's it for today.
Thank you for the stimulating presentation. Now I'd like to invite participants to ask questions.
We hear about smart eco villages, but do you think these people in the villages will be comfortable or happy with the change made and the increase in number of visitors?
We expect them to be happy because they gain their freedom over their village, mostly because there are no third-party people involved in managing these tourism areas. So yeah, we expect them to be happier, and also this whole thing will feel much more natural with their native people working there. So we also expect more people to come visit them, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Hello. So just now you mentioned about mobile app control when you talk about local involvement. So I want to ask, what does local involvement have anything to do with mobile app control? Could you explain it in detail, or maybe with a scenario?
I mean, it's mostly just making the jobs of the villagers easier, since we think that they're involved when just they need to have some kind of tool that will help them. This mobile app is designed to just help them with these things, just manage things easier, and that's pretty much the involvement of this app with local involvement. It's something for the villagers to use.
Thank you for the questions. Now I'd like to invite the judges to give questions.
Very good afternoon. My question is, who are your targeted visitors? Is it only the people from your country, or you are targeting on people outside the country? Who are the targeted visitors to the eco village?
We are basically targeting everyone who is interested in ecotourism and who cares about this nature and who wants to see the smart eco villages. And the visitors from outside the country will also be welcomed in our eco villages.
Thank you for the presentation. You may leave the session now.
Now, I would like to invite the fourth team from OPG World School of India to present.
Sustainability isn't a choice anymore. It's a responsibility we owe to the communities that safeguard our planet's future. As the afternoon unfolds, we're delighted to welcome each of you to the session. I'm Nakshatra, the moderator for this session. Alongside me are my teammates Arsha and Ronit, who will be our speakers, and Aryan, a reporter who will be documenting the key insights we share. Rooted in SDG 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities, we now turn to a theme that stands at the crossroads of innovation, environmental consciousness, and grassroots empowerment. Smart living and ecotourism practices empowering local communities. In a time when climate change, overdevelopment, and cultural erosion pose growing challenges, we aim to highlight how sustainable living and responsible travel are more than just trends, they're essential pathways towards inclusive growth. Throughout this session, we'll examine how local communities across the world, from Meghalaya to Costa Rica, are leading the way in conserving ecosystems while building resilient, self reliant economies.
Good afternoon, everyone. Arsha, your mic is on mute.
Welcome to our crash course on how to save the planet without giving up Wi-Fi. We are Team eConnect.
And we promise this will be the most fun you'll have learning about solar panels, sensor bins, and village heroes. So buckle up and let's dive into the green future. In a world that's rapidly urbanizing, where forests are becoming malls and rivers are turning into Instagram backdrops, smart living and ecotourism are two concepts trying to restore the balance.
They're about using tech not to escape nature but to live with it. Smart living makes our homes intelligent, and ecotourism makes our vacations responsible.
Together, they're like Batman and Robin, but if Batman cared about carbon footprints. And well, now that's us. This is me, Ronit. That's Arshia, my co-speaker, Aryan and Nakshatra. Alright now, what is smart living? Smart living is like giving your house a PhD in environmental science. It's tech-driven living where your house suddenly has a conscience.
The AC adjusts to the weather. Lights know when to turn off, and your water heater won't run for 3 hours straight when you fall asleep. With AI, IoT, and clean energy, it's about reducing waste without reducing comfort.
In cities like Amsterdam, smart living reduced energy consumption by 30% in 2023 alone. And India's future is not just digital, it's sustainable.
In 2024, India added over 2 million smart meters, proving we're literally getting brighter.
From AI-powered sorting bins to homes that text you if you leave the geyser on, tech is now the Gandalf of sustainability.
AI-powered logistics cut fuel use, and smart solar predicts sunlight patterns. India's solar capacity alone jumped 24% in 2023. It's tech with a conscience and solid Wi-Fi.
Ooh, also, the cost of solar 89% globally in the last decade, making clean energy more accessible than ever.
Now, ecotourism isn't just a trek through the jungle with a GoPro. It's about traveling in a way that respects both nature and benefits locals.
It's like being a good guest at a party. Don't break stuff, don't ghost the host, and maybe even help clean up before you leave.
Ecotourism teaches us that being a tourist doesn't mean being a tornado.
The global ecotourism market is set to hit USD 333 billion by 2027, growing at 14.3% annually.
Unlike traditional tourism, ecotourism puts communities at the center, creating local custodians who protect and live in harmony with their environment. So, our mission? to ensure that tourism gives back to nature, people, and the culture.
Costa Rica protects 25% of its land. Nepal's Annapurna, 60% of tourism revenue stays local. So, future generations still have something green to grab about. It's majorly four things:
Environmental conservation,
sustainable practices,
cultural respect,
and community empowerment. We don't just want tourism to take pictures.
we want it to build futures.
Mass tourism is like a buffet, crowded, messy, and bad for your health.
It's like eating fast food in a temple, convenient but entirely wrong.
Ecotourism, that's a farm to table experience, intimate, respectful, and sustainable.
It invites small groups, prioritizes conservation, ensures locals are not just staff but the stakeholders.
While traditional tourism clogs up destinations, ecotourism clears the path for future travelers. Less footprint, more connection.
Goa in 2023 welcomed 8.5 million tourists.
That's 5 times its population.
The result? Water shortages, sunburns, and traffic jams so bad even the cows were fed up.
In Ujjain, over-tourism caused a 60% drop in foreign visitors. Rituals turned into photo ops and sacred spaces felt commercial.
Now, tourist registrations are being considered. Too many feet can unfortunately crush even the sacred ground.
This is what happens when tourism runs wild. Lesson: tourism without regulation is like unlimited pizza. Great until you're sick.
Ecotourism, meanwhile, is both eco and economy friendly.
At Jordan's Phayun Lodge, 80 families benefit, with over 50% of guests pending staying local. In India, rural homestays grew 17% post-COVID.
Imagine a tribal woman in Odisha making terracotta jewelry. Thanks to ecotourism and online sales, her income triples. Her kids go to school and her village thrives.
According to UNEP, while only $5 of every $100 tourists spend usually stays local, ecotourism flips that. Up to 65% stays local. Examples being Thailand and Kenya.
But it's not all sunshine and solar panels.
Cultural dilution. When tribal dances become tourist entertainment, authenticity suffers.
Greenwashing. Some resorts slap an eco to their name but burn diesel generators at the back.
Poor regulation. Locals push into low-paying jobs while profits head to cities or even abroad.
Thus, the UNEP warns that without accountability, ecotourism can exploit rather than empower. India. Tourism makes 10% of global GDP and supports 1 in 10 jobs in India. It contributes over 9% of GDP and employs nearly 40 million people.
If just 30% of that shifted to ecotourism, we'd see cleaner landscapes and stronger livelihoods while preserving cultural identity.
With 100 smart cities and projects like Incredible India 2.0,
we're using tech to protect heritage and habitat. Digital heritage trails in Varanasi,
smart parking and transport in Jaipur.
Sustainable homestays in Himachal.
Imagine exploring Delhi's Qutub Minar with AR glasses or booking bamboo cottages in Kerala via government app.
We're not just building roads, we're paving a responsible path forward.
Women earn by turning compost into cash, while villagers become certified eco guides. Solar co-ops cut bills and create jobs.
Tech isn't replacing people, it's uplifting them. Now, picture this. Villagers run Airbnb-style platforms, sell crafts online, and use solar sensors for water? Well, that's not a fantasy. It's real, sustainable, and scalable.
Let's not just visit these places, let's invest in their potential.
Now, this slide is dedicated to us, the scroll-happy, climate-anxious Gen Z. We need to lead awareness drives, support policy reforms, and maybe post something meaningful between memes. The planet doesn't need influencers, it needs change makers.
At IIT Bombay, students developed an app that calculates the carbon offset of your train trip versus a flight.
In 2024, India's national ecotourism policy was shaped with the help of student research bodies. Now, Meghalaya, Meghalaya's Malinong is Asia's cleanest village. Apologies for that. We were having a presentation error, we believe. The slides weren't moving. We shall continue while the slides pay off. Now, Meghalaya's MEIDP project invested in infrastructure, ecotourism circuits, and skill development. By 2028, 40% of tourism will be eco-based. Now, Bhutan. Bhutan makes you pay to stay. It's a high-value, low-impact model. A daily tariff of 1,500 to 3,000 covers transport, lodging, and local guides. Tourists must respect local culture and nature, with strict eco rules in places. Over 70% of the revenue funds free education, healthcare, and forest conservation, boosting green cover by up to 12% in some areas. Costa Rica. Costa Rica is what happens when a country falls in love with nature. Costa Rica turned its forest into assets. Tourism is 9% of GDP, but 25% of land is protected with massive reforestation efforts and wildlife sanctuaries. Their Jaguar Rescue Center isn't a Marvel base, but it's just as cool. Spain shows us what not to do. Spain's tourism boom came with a cost. Locals in Barcelona couldn't afford rent because of Airbnb. The Canary Islands faced water shortages. 66,000 illegal tourist rentals were removed. In the end, we had this thought: what if every holiday you took left behind more than memories? What if it left a village stronger, a forest greener, and a culture richer? As the saying goes, take only memories, leave only footprints. But let's upgrade that. Take stories, leave opportunities. Take selfies, but also take responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you for the very interesting presentation. Now, I would like to invite the participants to ask questions.
We see how you have chose India as one of your examples. You talk about how India is smart cities and responsible tourism. But my question is, how do you think in some places in India it is suitable to have solar panels, and how will it sustain ecotourism?
Solar panels are already a part of India's growing economy. As a person who lives in Delhi, a resident of the NCR, the national capital, solar panels and solar usage is quite the beneficiary and quite initial in our stages of development, and it's already used across all parts of our cities and states. So, well, it is quite usable, and of course, making our nation more sustainable towards uh, green coverage. Yeah,
I would like to.
Nowadays, solar panels are initially part of the new development blueprints that are made in India. Even in such societies and living areas, they're added in the initial blueprints.
Thank you. Now, I would like to invite the judges to ask any questions. Thank you, OPG World School to India. You may leave the session now.
Thank you.
Now, let's hear from the fifth team from Magtuod National High School, the Philippines, to present.
Greetings from the Philippines.
Salamat pagi
Good afternoon.
o maayong adlaw sa inyong tanan.
But before we start, let us introduce ourselves first. I am Avril.
I am Alex.
I am Alea,
And I am Jare.
and we are the researchers from Magtuod National High School, Davao City, Philippines.
Environment is a natural world around us, including air, water, lands, animals, and ecosystem. It provides essential resources like clean air, water, food, and supports all life on Earth. However, human activities such as pollution, deforestation, and overuse of resources can harm environment, leading to problems like climate changes and loss of biodiversity. And now the question poses is how are we going to protect our environment and to our future generations that align to the theme of ecotourism, navigating challenges, and shaping a sustainable future. That's why we researcher initiated to create an Green and Go program, a bridge to awakening and environmental awareness with a sub-team number 6, SDG 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities. The environment plays a huge role of our health in this planet. Environmental challenges in urban centers is important to be clean. That's why we have an EE, or also known as environmental education, as a tool for environmental management. And this Green and Go program aim to educate people about environmental awareness and to share those recycling techniques and recycling behavior. Moreover, according to NASA in 2024, our environment is a serious and growing concern for people around the world today. We are facing a number of pressing environmental issues that threaten our future. Things like climate change, air pollution, depletion of the ozone layer, and the overuse of non renewable resources. And among these, climate change stands out as one of the most urgent challenges among our time. Scientists overwhelmingly agree that it's not just a natural shift in the climate, but something largely driven by human activity. And as waste generations continues to rise, it has become increasingly important for every citizen to take action in minimizing waste-related issues through proper disposal and recycling practices. In connection, the researchers being deemed this topic worthy of in-depth understanding.
And for our research question, our study aimed to highlight the environmental awareness of the students when they are subjected to an environmental program. Specifically, this study sought to address the following objectives. First, unearth the recycling practices of the students in their own household. Second, share their experiences about the Green and Grow program. And third, foster the change in environmental awareness of the respondents.
Our study will further anchor on the recent action theory by Asjan and Fishben 1980. The theory of recent action is important to the extent that it provides a foundation for the understanding of why people may not act in favor of the environment, despite having a good intentions, either due to their lack of confidence or they feel lack above the behavior.
And for our conceptual framework, the paradigm of the study was used IPO method, which is the input was a Green and Go program. And the process was the students must bring a varied recyclable materials to the school. An expected output was the students must be heightened awareness on environmental issues and recycling.
Methodology. For our research design, we use qualitative phenomenological study. For our research respondents, we have 6 students from grade 10 level of Magtuod National High School. For our research instrument, we use survey questions.
For our data gathering procedure, we use thematic analysis, and for our data analysis, we transcribed, analyzed, coded, and interpret.
For our data gathering procedure, we first ask the permission to conduct the study. Next, we identify the experiences of the students. After that, we conducted a focus group discussion and in-depth interviews among the participants. Lastly, we analyze the information we gathered.
For our resultant discussion, this thematic diagram shows how students at Magtuod National High School experience and understand recycling through both their household and school environments, especially through the Green and Go program. First, in the school setting, as students began to understand and practice the recycling method, it led to the creation of an innovative program called the Green and Go. This program was not just a project, but a movement of environmental responsibility among the learners. During the implementation, students showed a commendable response, actively participating in the collection of recyclable materials, and despite strong efforts, there was mixed feedback and feelings from some participants, especially during the early stages. After the implementation, students expressed positive feedback, appreciating the relevance and impact of the Green and Go program. They developed positive feelings towards recycling, realizing how it contributes to environmental care and community well-being, and many of them achieve an average to high level of awareness. In the household setting, we have here the minimal waste production. One of the key changes observed was the reduction of unnecessary waste at home. Less waste means less pollution and less pressure on landfills. Next, we have the cordial practices in waste materials disposal. Good waste disposal habits at home reduce the risk of pollution, improve sanitation, and support the larger community's waste management system. Next, the positive views in recycling. As families became more involved in recycling, they developed positive attitudes towards on it. Next, the economical way of recycling. Many families discovered that recycling is not just good for environment, it is also a budget friendly. Example, selling recyclable items like plastic bottles, cardboards, and metals to junk shops or recycling centers. And lastly, the opposing practices of waste disposal in public places. It highlights the need for wider public education and community-wide cooperation to make recycling effective beyond just individual homes. And to explain further, we have here five key themes emerged that reflect the students' real experiences and feelings about the Green and Go program. The first, positive feelings and active involvement in the program. The production and variation of waste materials. Next, the cordial practices on waste materials disposal. The opposing practices of waste disposal in public places. And lastly, the economical way of recycling. And to conclude our study, the application of the recycling methods through the Green and Go program served as a turning point for Magtuod National High School. It allowed students to see firsthand power of sustainable living, starting with simple actions that grew into a collective environmental movement. What began in the classroom extended to homes and eventually to the larger community, demonstrating that with guidance, participation, and education, and young people can become the leaders of environmental transformation. And lastly, the Green and Go program heighten the positive outlook and values of the respondents towards recycling. It can also be noted that respondents have prior awareness of the environmental issues and recycling.
And for our recommendation, we recommend self-facing toward the following: local government unit, school administration, teachers, parents, students, and future researchers. Improving waste management starts with simple but consistent actions like following proper waste segregation, creating clear and organized recycling programs, and taking part in regular cleanup or recycling activities. Making these efforts more engaging through rewards, educational talks, and create presentation can help keep everyone motivated. Practicing proper waste disposal, collecting recyclables, and staying positive about environmental efforts also make a big difference. When everyone works together and takes responsibility, positive change become more possible. Future studies can build on these ideas to make environmental programs even better. And here's our references if you want to look more further.
And that would be our presentation. But before we leave, we want to share a quote saying, a healthy environment begins with a recycled mindset. Terima kasih.
Thank you.
And daghang salamat.
And at this moment, we would like to entertain your questions.
Thank you for the presentation. Now, I would like to invite the participants to ask any questions.
Thank you for the amazing presentation. But my question will be, how does your suggestions is different from the existing initiatives that exist?
Raising environmental awareness is another key way to achieve sustainability. Educating people, especially tourists and local communities, about the importance of protecting nature encourages responsible behaviors such as conserving water, reducing plastic use, and respecting wildlife. Environmental awareness fosters a deeper understanding of how human actions affect ecosystem, leading to more mindful choices that support long-term environmental health. By promoting awareness, we inspire collective action and build a culture of care and responsibility for the planet. Thank you.
Additionally, of the answer of my co-researcher, our study is all about the Green and Go program. It promoting recycling and it is a bridge to awakening a sustainability of our country, and not just even the Philippines but also around the world. And through recycling, we can achieve a sustainable cities and communities. And aside from that, the future generations can still see the beauty of our ecosystem.
Thank you for the question. Now, I would like to invite the judges for any questions.
Okay, hello. Good afternoon.
Good
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Okay. You mentioned in your abstract participants here. How many participants involved?
There were 6 students from Magtuod National High School, grade 10 level.
Okay. Qualitative, right?
Yes, madam.
Okay. All right, thank you. That's all from me.
Thank you, Magtuod High School, Philippines. You may leave the session now.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much. Thank you.
Yes. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. All right.
Now, I would like to invite the sixth school from Sekolah Menengah Sains Tapa to present.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, I am excited to voice out our vision for smart living and ecotourism practices, empowering local communities. Well, before we start our presentation, let me share with you one simple quote from Leonard I. Sweet. The future is not something we enter, the future is something we create.
Assalamualaikum and good afternoon to the honorable educators, the precise timekeeper, the diligent rapporteur, the attentive moderator, and not to forget members of the hall. Before we start, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Ivy Iman, and I am the main technical virtuoso of our team and also a presenter.
And I am Wan Muhammad Fatih, and I am the presenter for this team.
With our proposal, we hope to achieve the empowerment of the locals as well as the sustainability of their culture and heritage in the future. So as a start, this is our agenda for today. We hope that we could give out a very detailed explanation following through these contents. Moving on. So why is it that we use smart living and ecotourism practices in the first place? The implementation of smart living practices will reduce the environmental impact and also promotes efficiency within the local's business. Now, with our setting in the forest, we should resort to environmentally friendly technologies while also remaining efficient. For instance, solar power appliances, advanced waste management, and also advanced recycling systems. Following this, ecotourism practices are suitable practices for the locals or for the inhabitants of rural areas to adopt. It sustains the well-being of the people and also involves interpretation of education. Not to forget minimal changes to the environment and also the structures of the locals' accommodations. Through this, we can educate people about the community's cultural and traditions. Moving on to Fatih.
All right, thank you, Amin. But first, let me state why empowering local communities does matter. We would like to take note of these practices, that is, building capacities, enhance self-reliance, and economic, social, and cultural development. This empowerment can provide the communities with the agency that will protect and preserve their cultural heritage. This can lead to socio-economic growth, protect natural resources, and preserve their cultural heritage. As you can see here, these are our brief background. We have module of Kampung Motor Melaka and the next, Kampung Orang Asli Kuala. As you can see here, Kampung Motor Melaka is a model of success. They have already achieved the empowerment of the communities by showcasing their cultural identity. They also play an active role in the economy. As well, Kampung Orang Asli Kuala is a developing example that focuses on building self-reliance and ecotourism skills. The empowerment is still unfolding with outside support play an active role. So that's why I would like to propose that we adopt and adapt the module of Kampung Motor Melaka into the Kampung Orang Asli Kuala.
And now I will introduce you all to the community we opted to apply our proposal to. Being in the nearest community we are able to lend a helping hand to, we chose the Tapah community. They are known for their close connection to nature, rich cultural traditions, and also a peaceful way of living. Let's take a look at their lifestyles. Traditionally, they engage in subsistence farming, gathering forest products, and practicing sustainable living. Furthermore, they also live in secluded rural areas, making them separated from society, thus creating a plethora of challenges that they had to face over the years. The challenges that they had to face over the years are related to land rights due to them living in the forest. They also struggle with gaining education and access to modern amenities, being unable to adapt to the modern world. Proceeding to the problem statements, we have identified the problems that hinder with the empowerment of the locals in the first place. First and foremost, both the indigenous communities and also the society, which is mainly the younger generations, lack the awareness to sustain their culture and heritage. Other than that, the communities lack the knowledge to adopt and adapt to the modern world. Marketing and advertising requires the involvement of digital and creativity to work standardly in today's world. And lastly, their lack of involvement in economics results in their inability to secure sufficient funding, making them having to rely on the governments to provide them funds. And now Fatih will explain.
All right, so how do we identify these problems? So we conducted some case studies that stress out on awareness and benefit assessment. Thus, we gave an 8-item questionnaire to the locals at Kampung Motor Melaka and the students at Tapa. And from our questionnaire, we found out that the majority of the individual possess a rudimentary understanding of sustainable living and ecotourism. Moving on, our finding also suggests that the most transformative aspect of intelligent living is the cutting-edge technology. And moreover, we also found out that the most powerful strategy for empowering the local communities is the dynamic promotion of culture and heritage. Well, as you can see on the screen, these are the challenges that prevent locals from fully benefiting from smart living and ecotourism. And lastly, these are the preferable changes to promote smart living and ecotourism.
And now we can move on to the conclusion of our research. We can conclude that the locals from Kampung Morton are much more aware of these practices and its benefits more than the other indigenous communities. This is because they have already adopted these practices to empower themselves, adapt to the modern world, and also preserve their own culture and heritage. Meanwhile, the younger generations are unfortunately less aware of these practices due to them having limited exposure to cultural and tourism-related topics. Thus, we must collectively voice out these problems to educate the people on the importance of preserving our origins for the future.
Right. So let me stress out our proposal, but first let me introduce you to the NCEIA, or the Northern Corridor Implementation Authority, and their projects, the NCER, Northern Corridor Economic Region, that covers states like Perak, Pening, and Kedah. What do? They give funding to the high added value development projects such as Lata Kinjang Eco Forest Park. They have successfully empowered the local communities, especially the Semai tribe. So I am proposing that the NCERA will give an aid to the Tapah Semai community to help them with their ecotourism initiatives. So for our plan, the Semai Ecovillage, we would like to restore and improve their own infrastructure. I am proposing that the NCIA will give fundings to restore the old bamboo houses and turn them into chalets. This will and equip them with necessary facilities such as what proper water pipeline and clean water sources. Just imagine sleeping in traditional bamboo houses after learning a whole day on how to weave the local arts and crafts. So that's why culture and heritage need to be exposed to the outside world. But the question how? We must give them education, especially by using the social media platform. I am proposing that the NCIA will give the management business courses or seminar. So how many of us have learned something new but while using the social media lately? So that is the power that we want to give to them to ensure they are knowledgeable on how to use the social media platform to promote and commercialize their own businesses. In total, technology exposure, we will provide them with gadgets and Wi-Fi. But first, we must educate them on how to use this technical support and all tools to help them compete with the modern era of ecotourism nowadays.
Overall, with our proposal, we hope to firstly achieve our primary goal, which is the enhancement of self-reliance within the local community, so that they can manage and they are capable of managing their own businesses and are no longer reliant on the government. To emphasize, they have the ability to generate the amount of income that can cover the cost of their own maintenance. Other than that, we also want them to sustain their own culture and heritage. Our plan highlights that the original structure of the traditional houses remain unchanged. Additionally, we also provide community-led tours and experiences that can ensure the preservation of the culture and heritage. And last but not least, the boost of socio-economic growth. By more people becoming more aware of these practices and its benefits, then more people will become interested in tourism sectors and the preservation of their origins. And with that, our presentation is completed. We are now open to the Q&A session. We invite your questions, thoughts, and ideas.
Thank you for the very fascinating presentation. Now, I would like to invite the participants for any questions.
That was a good presentation coming from our presenters. Now, I would like to ask, what are the few examples of ecotourism practices derived from your presentation?
Mm, um, for the examples, they are promoting locally owned accommodations and also community-led tours and experiences.
We can also provide fair wages and
Fair wages and
employment opportunities and also cultural and heritage tourism.
Next question. I want to know, what are the reasons behind your decision to choose the Tapah Semai community as your project or focus of study? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. So why do we choose Tapah Semai community for our research? This is mainly because we are closer to Semai community, so it was easier for us to lend a helping hand for them. And fun fact, in Malaysia there are three major ethnic, which is Senoi, Negrito, and also Melayu Asli. So the Semai community is one of the sub-ethnic in Senoi. So I hope I am answering your question.
All right. Thank you for the questions. Now, I would like to invite the judges for any questions.
All right, I have a question. Okay, what would be the challenges that you face in conducting research?
There is a lack amount of information on the internet, and we also have to go to some places. We have to travel to some places so that we can actually interview these people and their actual experiences in conducting this type of like our proposal.
Thank you, Sekolah Menengah Sains Tapa, for the presentation. Thank you to all judges for your time. Thank you, presenters and the audience. We have reached the end of your session for today. Thank you and have a good day, everyone. To be at the day one Prima by 4 p.m.